All right, my friends. Good afternoon slash good evening. I'm gonna start with our prayer, and then you go to the lecture. Okay. So let's all of us start calming our hearts, calming our minds, put ourselves in a um, good vibration zone where we can bring all our spiritual friends that are here, that will come here to help us send and say good words, not only for the ones that are here uh, in on earth, but also for the ones that are spiritually in need, spirits that are lost, they're looking for a light. Let's try to be their light today, bringing some comforting words, bringing some spiritual treatment, and also helping them somehow to get relief from their lives. And with that, we can bring reliefs to ourselves, to our family, to our friends, to everyone that we are surrounded, and also to bring this light to our neighborhood. And this small light that we are lighting up today can be with other lights and all over the world, and bringing peace, bringing faith, bringing love to all of us. Thank you for all your presence here, our spiritual friends, for our earth friends, and so be it. All right, so today we're continuing with chapter 24. So first, I'm gonna just read all the slides, and after that, I start develop the topic. Okay. So on chapter 24, it continues saying, "Do not hide your lamp under a bushel. Do not go to the Gentiles." With Jesus' instructions to the disciples, he says, "Do not go to the Gentiles, and do not enter the cities of the Samaritans. Instead, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel," back in Israel, back in Jesus' time. "Wherever you go, preach, saying that the kingdom of heaven is near." Do not go to the Gentiles. It didn't mean disdain the pagans or converting them. It meant the pagans were not ready to receive the Christianism. On the Jews, what the Jews said at the time, they had been prepared by the law of Moses and the prophets. They believed in the oneness of God, and they awaited for the Messiah. With the pagans, among the pagans, where even the base was lacking, everything needed to be done, and the disciples were not yet sufficiently enlightened or such a weighty task. Jimmy, is disciples or disciples? I always forget this word.
Disciples.
Disciples, okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I'll promise I won't forget.
That's okay.
And later on, the apostles would plant the cross right in the midst of paganism. And to Spiritism, "do not go to the Gentiles" means it and is not applied. The systematic disbelievers, the obstinate scoffers, and the self-centered adversaries. But it must apply among persons of goodwill, desire the light, and who desire to see clearly. Leaving the others alone is not indifference, but good policy. The ideas here are like seeds. They can germinate before the right season and only in prepared soil. In the time of Jesus, everything was circumscribed and localized, like the house of Israel was a small nation. And the Gentiles were a small nation surrounding it. Nowadays, ideas are universalized and spiritualized. And the Gentiles are no longer a people, but an opinion that is found everywhere. And the light of the spiritual knowledge is not a privilege of any nation. There are no barriers to it. It shines everywhere and all humans, meaning we are brothers and sisters. So after reading this chapter, I conclude that basically this is more actual than I really even thought about it. We that try to study the Spiritism here, we all try to understand all the teachings of Jesus, and we all try to apply them to our lives. We understand how good can be to our life if you apply them. But also we have to understand as spiritists that we cannot convert anyone to the Spiritism. There's something that everyone has to have the light up and come from themselves. That's what that's why in a gospel it says that like we should not like go towards them or push them to come to teach the Jesus teachings, because the Jesus teachings is out there. Everyone can come and like try to learn something, but it's not up to us to convert them or even to bring them to the Spiritism. I also heard that like the Haroldo gave our lecture in Portuguese, one of the speakers that we love to watch, and even him said in his lecture that like we are here just to try to make the Jesus teachings the easiest as possible so people can learn, and if in case something light up inside them, they can come and learn more about Spiritism. But it doesn't mean that you have to make them just believe on that, just make that as their policy, or make that what they're gonna apply on their life. We are here to teach, but not to bring or force anyone to learn more about the Jesus teachings. Because what I see with the Spiritism, we try to make that teachings easy as possible. And the best way is not only trying to teach, but once everyone is around us can see all these teachings that we try to preach, once you start applying them on our own lives, people that is around us, that is we are surrounded with, they're gonna see that changes in our lives, and they're gonna be based on that, so they can be attracted to the Spiritism. If nothing happens, like it's like a parents and kids. For example, if your parents say something for their kids to do, and then actually their own parents is doing something differently, what like the base for the kids are their parents. But if the parents try to teach a different thing what they are trying to teach the kids, what you think the kids gonna do? What the parents are doing or what the parents are trying to teach? I'm not a parent yet, but like based on my like how I grew, like how my parents try to teach me, I try to follow what they taught me and what they did. I'm not like Samantha, Louisa, they're here. They can like even, I don't know, confirm that to me, you know? Like when you try to teach something to your kids, they're not gonna be based what you say, but basically what you do in front of them, so they can be based on. Right, Samantha?
That is for sure. I have
Yeah.
to give the example. I was actually talking about this today with one of my friends because I grew up, everybody sitting down the table to eat once the meal, like once a day. And today it's so crazy, like the life, and if you don't really try to do that, you get lost because we're all busy, we're all doing stuff all the time. But I really bring this to my little family here that at least once every other day we sit down together to eat. And this is what, and it's not about today, it's what I want them to bring to their, to their future, to their family. And if you don't do it, if you just say it, how are they gonna, how are you gonna teach them that this is a good thing? So can't just say it. It's definitely the example.
Yeah, I think we just make our word valuable when we actually do the action with the word we are saying. And it's exactly like when you try, like, do with the lectures, like, nothing helps, like, if you try to put on people's mind that they have to believe on spiritism. We are there just to bring some information. We are there just to plant the seed on people's mind. And whenever that seed is ready to grow, they're gonna grow itself, but like it not depend on us. Our part is just to bring as much information as we can. But it doesn't mean that that people that are listening to that, that are hearing that information, they are ready to absorb that and also they apply. So that's why on the Spiritism, we try a lot to tell about the intimate reform, where we can first try to change ourselves, change our actions, our responsibilities, our spiritual responsibilities. And then after that, we can bring more valuable examples to people you want to reach for a better and more developed spiritual feeling, spiritual life. That's how I see this lecture here.
Yeah, well, we had a lecture with Haroldo the other day. I don't know if you were there.
No, I wasn't able to go, but like I know that is on YouTube already, so
He
I'm
was
gonna watch it.
absolutely amazing.
I bet he is.
I was very emotional because I love him. And he was talking about this, how we can spread the spiritism without talking about spiritism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he mentioned was when Jesus told uh, Paul, go spread the gospel, and if necessary, say something. So it's pretty much this. Let's just do it with our example. We don't really need to say anything. If we are good examples, I think that's 90%, because eventually a light will flick there and say, wow, maybe I should follow that, because just
Yeah,
follow the example. Do
and
what
then
I
like,
do.
yeah, and then like the nice thing is, like, in the beginning when you and I start like giving lessons, and both of us has like husbands that like are not religious, or like they might believe on something, but they don't study like we do. In the beginning, we always had in our mind, oh, we have to make them to believe, we have to make them to be spiritists like us, and most of the time we suffer because if it's not their time, it's something that like we cannot do anything. And also, maybe also no, we're gonna create a problem because we try to force a situation. Like first they gonna start believe more on this thing, on this teachings and the knowledge of the spiritual knowledge, only if they see some difference on ourselves. Then they can see that, like, yeah, if it's changing someone for the good, shouldn't I try?
But this is exactly what Haroldo said, you know, they don't have to be spiritists. You can find a very spiritual person on so many different religions. So if that individual is a good Samaritan, he has a good heart, he does charity, that doesn't necessarily, he doesn't necessarily need to follow the spiritist to be a good spiritist.
No, for sure. Yeah. And then, like, that's what I'm saying. But in the beginning, I don't know about you, but in the
No,
beginning, I was
yeah,
just like, no, they have to. But like, it took me time to understand that, like whoever I am with, I know that that person has a good heart, sometimes better than mine. I have to tell you that.
yeah, definitely.
And more comprehensive and everything. So it doesn't mean that he needs to do the same things I do, to watch the lectures I watch, you know. As long as you're here to do the good for the others and for yourself, because we have to take care of our our own spiritual stage, like, that's all that matters. And then it's basically the light of, like said here, the light of the spiritual knowledge. It's not on being a spiritist, but like being there for the others, being there to do the good, no matter what religion you are, no matter if you believe in God or not, you know, as long as you're here to spread love, you know, to spread like light for others, that's all that matters.
Definitely.
Does anyone has any questions or any comments that would you like to share with us?
No, I mean, that's pretty much what he said. And one of my comments to him at the end was that with me, for example, because I discovered the Spiritist doctrine a few years ago, right? So for me, it was like I wanted to share with everyone because you want to share what's good for you, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you are gonna be known as that person that doesn't stop talking about something, and that's where I lack on the caution. I think on the beginning, where you discover this and then you're like, everyone needs to know and everyone needs to follow the Spiritist. Well, it's not that way, but with me it was that. It was, oh, it's so good, you should know about it. So you want everyone to become a Spiritist. But again, it's not the Spiritist, it's the way of living. You can be a Spiritist just by being a good Samaritan, like we said. So
yeah, the good actions and everything else. Jimmy, do you have any comments?
I think Jimmy's gone.
Oh, really? Oh, no. That's okay. All right. All right, ladies. Yeah, that was the lesson of today. I think also that is this lesson is super affirmative. It's not something that you didn't have it and studied before. But I think for this part, specifically to being almost in the end of the book, is just more for us to be with our hearts calm, to be like, you're not here just you have the responsibility of change the world by starting with yourself. Don't worry with the others, which doesn't mean that you don't care about the others. Don't worry with the others, because everyone is going to have your own time to grow spiritually. So I think here is the a period point of we have to do the good starting with ourselves, and the seeds are in everybody's heart, but like everyone has your own different timing to grow the seed and grow spiritually all over the world.
Very well said.
Oh. All right, so since there's no any other comments, I'm gonna do the final prayer, all right? So let's all of us being with the good thoughts, sending to everyone in need in this world, to all these news that we are surrounded with, that we don't get affected by them. Instead, we just send positive vibrations to all this sad news we see, this all sad news that they are in front of us every day. Because once we are focused on the good energies, on the good thoughts, together we all can change the vibration of the world. Thank you for the presence of all of you here. Thank you for the spiritual friends that were here with us, listening to us, learning with us, teaching us, and also working together with us for everyone in need, spiritually and also incarnated people that are in need of this energy that we work every week. That we have a blessed week full of energy, full of love, and that our hearts will be full of faith and light, so we can always be in peace. And so be it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Jimmy.
Aw, I'm
I think he
sorry.
got